from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
My Hometown is made possible by Herald Community Newspapers. For more local news, visit liherald.com. Got a story to tell? Call 516-569-4000.
WHPC.
And now we return to My Hometown.
And we are back on My Hometown, and I'm your host, Rita Monte, and today we have also Joe here, our student, and we are speaking with Ellen Lockwood about a very important issue today, important topic, and pet therapy. So we have lots of more questions for you, Ellen, and the next one is, how do I train my pup to be a therapy dog? Do we do that one yet? No, right? Joe, do we do that one yet? No. How do I train my pup to be a therapy dog?
Well, I have to tell you that as far as training, you can train obedience, and the dog needs to know basic obedience. But the most important thing is the temperament of the dog. Does the dog, as I always say, like to be the mayor of the town? When you take him out on a walk, does he like all people? Does he like people who have hats on, people with beards, old people, young people, short people, tall people? Does he like all different colors of people? Your dog, how is he with noises? If there's a loud noise, is he away in the corner and shaking? You basically need a dog who not only likes people but loves people.
Right.
Rico will sit down when he sees a school bus because he knows there's children inside the bus. Now, he wants to meet them, but they're strangers, but he wants children. So he will sit down. If he sees someone in a driveway, he will sit down in the driveway till the person's done waxing their car, till they can pet him. That's a therapy dog. If your dog goes up to strangers and you see the dog is happy and wagging their tail, that's usually the sign of the start of a therapy dog. But if you go onto the Pet Partners site, there is a whole list of information on what to look for and what you can help your dog do in training. Basically, you start from a puppy if you're starting from a puppy, which doesn't mean it always has to be a puppy. But if you have a puppy, that first year, the most important thing, other than just obedience, is socialization of the dog to all kinds of people, to all kinds of venues.
So that brings up a really good point also of how can you find out where you can become a pet therapy team? Like, where can you get guidance on it, or where can you get more information?
A great place to start is at the Pet Partners site. You'll go to petpartners.org. At the site, you will see a section that says volunteering with your pet. There is also a free webinar if you're interested in becoming a pet therapy team, which is a 1-hour webinar. It will be given live on May 10th, 9 p.m. Eastern, September 26th, 6 p.m. Eastern, and December 6th at 5 p.m. But there is also a recorded version. If you click on the tab heading Volunteering with Your Pet, you'll be able to see that, and that will really hands-on give you a lot of information.
That's great. Also, another important question is, why can my pet help people read in libraries, schools, and etc.?
Yes, there's a new program with Pet Partners called the Read With Me program. So Rico is a therapy dog, but he's also part of the Read With Me program. So I can go into an elementary school or I could go into a library and deal with a child who has literacy challenges. And it's been proven that the grade level will go from below normal or average to at grade level or above, because the dog does not tell the child it's the wrong word. It's the wrong pronunciation. You're stuttering or you're reading too fast or too slow. The dog creates a section of a bubble almost for the child where the child is relaxed. When the child can not be stressed and continue to read, this is the outcome. So it has great, great possibilities of helping children. And you'll see that most libraries now, only in the last couple of years, are bringing the dogs in.
Okay, that's great. So, Joe, maybe you have a question?
Yeah. Basically, what are the criteria for prospective handlers and their animals to be therapy teams? Like, is there something they need to be, like a status quo they have to meet?
There are. If you go to the Pet Partners site, with each organization, it is different. With Pet Partners, you can go onto their site and take a look there. Mm-hmm. And some of the criteria, the dog has to be at least 1 year old with Pet Partners, have 6 months for guinea pigs and rabbits, have no history or signs of aggression with people or other animals, has to live in your home for at least 6 months for a dog and a year for a bird, be vaccinated against rabies, except for guinea pigs and rabbits, and not be fed a raw diet, or so there's no transmission of anything, that it's safe for the patient, not just the dog, and be housebroken. Also, he has to demonstrate good obedience skills, leave it, come, stay, down, basic obedience, and welcome strangers, not just tolerate them, and be able to wear approved equipment, which usually is not a problem, and all this information will be at the Pet Partners site.
Okay, let's give that site, and then we'll give it again at the end.
Pet Partners site will be petpartners.org, and you can click on the volunteering, and for free register with them and take all kinds of free courses, including a very good new course there that's on canine language, teaching you how to look for stress signs and what your dog's telling you. And that's good for anyone, even if you're not going to be an animal handler, to be able to see what your dog is reacting to and why.
Well, and speaking of which, can minors and people with disability be volunteers? And what if they don't own their own animals? Can they still volunteer with someone else's animal?
Yes, minors aged 10 to 16 must be accompanied by a parent or guardian, or adults appointed by a parent or guardian. All people under 18 must have the permission to participate from a parent or guardian, which is collected at the application process. A volunteer with a disability includes those who serve with service dogs. Also, you can be a friend, or if you don't have your own dog to be a therapy, let's say dog team in particular, it really is with any animal. If you have permission, if you're a friend or a family member, and you're known by the animal for at least 6 months for dogs and 1 year for birds, you can become a handler of that animal and do pet therapy as long as you have permission of the owner.
Yeah, good. That's great.
So that opens it up to a lot of people that didn't think they'd be able to do it.
Yeah, that's very good. So,
can I ask you? I want to ask you real quick also. So, like, why would an organization need to do pet therapy work? Like, why would I need an organization to do it for me?
You would need an organization. The benefits are, number one, you are taught a handler's course. You are also have the support of a complete database of volunteer opportunities nationwide of where you can serve with your animal. And you are also covered with a comprehensive insurance policy.
Okay. Ellen, there was a quick question before that it slipped me. You mentioned ESA. What does that stand for before?
ESA is any animal that is deemed by a psychological provider to be an emotional support animal.
Okay.
And you will see, but the one thing you need is that letter that it is medically necessary, emotionally, for that person to have an ESA dog. But the only coverage you have is that animal can live where you live, even if it says no pets. But it cannot do the same coverage as a service dog, as far as the ability to go into places. You can go on an airplane with the dog, an ESA dog, where you can live also.
Okay.
And they're great helps, especially to people with anxiety and panic disorders.
Yeah, that's
Right.
really,
Now,
really
Ellen, I have one more question for you, too. We talked a little bit beforehand about this, but you have an incredible story about your dog, Rico. Could you maybe share it just a little bit? Because I think it's just too good of a story not to want to be able to tell.
Well, I have two stories. One is when we actually did therapy, and one is with my dad. Which would you like to hear?
Whichever one you would want to share.
The one with your dad.
My dad. Well, Rico came from a wonderful organization called Canine Companions for Independence. They are nationwide. They have service dogs trained, which cost about $60,000 a dog, and give them free of charge to people with disabilities. A very wide range of people with disabilities. Hearing dogs, service dogs, PTSD dogs, people who have cerebral palsy, a whole range of them. It's a wonderful organization. They breed their own dogs. They train their own dogs with their own trainers nationwide. You can go to cci.org, contact them, fill out an application for an animal, and see if you meet the criteria. All dogs make it as service dogs. People think that you can just train any dog to be a service dog. This is an organization that also not only trains but breeds its own. So what they do is there are release dogs, which Rico is a change of career dog.
Okay.
And 60% of the dogs that are supposed to be service dogs become change of career dogs, and half of those become therapy dogs because of the temperament.
Okay. I just want to say something quickly, that I became friends with Rico on Facebook a little bit over a year ago, and then I became friends with Ellen. So when I was doing this interview, people would ask me, what are you doing today? I said, I'm going to be interviewing a dog. So it's a funny thing to say, but I knew Rico before I knew Ellen. But so I got very attached to Rico, of course. He's a very special dog. He really is very special. Tell quickly the story about your dad, because we have very short time.
Rico came from Canine Companions for Independence. He was a change of career dog. And what happens is that my dad lost his speech to dementia, and after 2 years of all specialists, could not speak. And a chief of geriatric psychiatry said, I'll give you a drug, but a therapy dog will work better. We got another therapy dog come in, and in 6 weeks, my father got all his speech back. And in order to keep him going, we had to get a dog, and we wound up calling CCI and got Rico. My father continued to speak.
That's a pretty amazing story. You're gonna have to come back, because we're gonna have to do another show just on Rico. And quickly, how is doing dog therapy, pet therapy, impacted your life, changed your life?
We work a lot at hospitals, nursing homes, and mainly at Ronald McDonald House of Long Island, and seeing what people go through and how people just get up every morning and put their shoes on. It makes you grateful just to get up in the morning.
That's so great. We want to thank you today, Ellen and Rico Lockwood. Rico is here, by the way, today, listening, and he's going to say a few words in a couple of minutes. Only kidding. I want to thank you, Ellen, for coming today and bringing Rico with you. Thank you for the most informative interview today. So give us the website quickly before we go.
Website will be petpartners.org. You can go there. And also for a service dog, cci.org.
Great. Joe, anything before we close?
No, I'm good.
He's good. Thank you, Joe. And you gave all the information. I'm your radio host, Rita Monte, along with NCC student Joe Ritter. And we want to thank you for listening. Thank you, Ellen.
We like to get your feedback on My Hometown. Send your comments to whpc@ncc.edu. My Hometown is produced by Jim Green, executive producer. Nassau Community College, where success starts and continues. Till next time, this is Bill St. James. And remember, there's no town like your hometown.